I was delightfully surprised by how great this is.
Film review? Yes, it is. We are talking about The Naked Gun, a new-fangled Naked Gun with Liam Neeson stepping into the iconic role of Lieutenant Frank Drebin. We have both seen it. It is out in theaters now. Come subscribe and hang out because it is August, but what has happened with August in recent years is that surprisingly good stuff comes out, right?
Yeah.
August used to be like a dumping ground time between summer blockbusters and all the cool fall festival awards contenders. And now, like, you get good things in August, and Naked Gun is one of them. Alonso, please tell us about it.
I think someone murdered my brother.
Please, take a chair.
Thank you.
This is a remake of The Naked Gun, which was, of course, itself a big screen version of the short-lived but brilliant TV series Police Squad. And Liam Neeson stars as Frank Drebin Jr. There's a lot of sons of in this cast. Paul Walter Hauser is his sidekick, who is the son of the George Kennedy character. And we open with Drebin using his very unconventional techniques to bust up a bank robbery. His angry superior, played by the great CCH Pounder, reassigns him to traffic accidents. But in investigating a car crash in Malibu, he finds that it all ties back to the bank robbery. So he's got to investigate, and that investigation crosses paths with Pamela Amderson as a novelist who writes true crime stories that she makes up, and an evil tech billionaire played by Danny Huston, because of course Danny Huston, this is what Danny Huston does for a living. I was delightfully surprised by how great this is. We've had such a hard time chasing the dragon of Zucker-Abrahams-Zucker for the last couple of decades. I mean, you look at the sad decline of the Scary Movie franchise, for instance, and that's a really hard tone to hit. It's a hard kind of style to emulate. But Akiva Schaffer, one of the Lonely Island guys, gets it here. And looking back at his work, I realize that he's always kind of been operating in that milieu. I still haven't seen the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie, which I totally have to, because I hear it's really good. But like going back to Hot Rod, which was the first feature that he directed, like there's that brilliant sequence where Andy Samberg is reenacting the Never number from Footloose, and then just goes rolling down a hill and rolling and rolling and rolling. And it's just, it's absurd and ridiculous and hilarious. And he gets that kind of straight-faced, deadpan absurdity that ZAZ was so famous for. And here, you know, they are just doing the barrage of jokes method from, you know, Airplane and Top Secret and their best work. And it plays like they're funny jokes, and you've barely stopped laughing from one of them when there's another one coming your way. I went out of my way to quote as few jokes as possible in my review, because I wanted people to discover them, and we won't get too deep into the weeds here either. But I was howling from start to finish, and it's been a while since a comedy. I mean, like Barb and Star maybe was the last comedy that I think was that sort of consistently hilarious from stem to stern.
Yeah, Barb and Star also very absurd.
Yes.
In its comedy. And the best parts of Barb and Star, kind of like this film here too, are like when they totally detach themselves from reality.
Yes.
When it becomes just wild and builds on itself.
And often a musical number.
Yeah, it goes to weirder and weirder places. So I loved Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I didn't love it as much as most folks.
Okay.
I feel it's a little bit of a mess, but I know why people like it, and I'm not mad at it. It wasn't my jam.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I showed it to Nick, and we sing the songs around the house. It's great. So I get why Akiva Schaffer is a good fit for this material. I really, really wanted to love this. I laughed a lot. I laughed out loud many times. I think the role is so indelibly part of Leslie Nielsen's persona that anybody else stepping into it just doesn't feel quite the same. And Liam Neeson is totally game for all of this. The casting of it is very much in the same vein as casting Leslie Nielsen from a serious dramatic background to this deadpan absurdity. I get that it makes sense. It flows, certainly. He and Pamela Amderson are very cute together. They are now dating in real life, apparently, which is adorable. Hot take. I think Pamela Anderson is better here than she is in The Last Showgirl.
I never saw The Last Showgirl, so I'll take your word for it. But yeah, I love how game she is for this. There is at least one scene in this, as I said in my review, that will be in every career retrospective from now until doomsday involving a jazz club. And what's great is that she is never, the camera is never sort of leering at her. It's never like ooh, check out the hot babe. That's the joke. If anything, the joke is the dudes who are leering at her.
Right. Yeah. And like Priscilla Presley, she brings like an elegance, like an old school kind of femme fatale elegance, but also is gonzo for the nutty stuff required of her.
Will throw herself right in.
She's got so much better comic timing than I think anybody has ever given her credit for.
Yeah.
And so she's really, really good here. There are so many little details that are so clever and so hilarious, and just the wordplay. And if you're paying attention to like the signs and like the wording, there's a coffee house that is not even, they don't even linger on it.
No,
he's walking down the street.
You have to be paying attention.
If you're paying attention to the name of the coffee house, oh my God, so funny. The things that made me laugh the hardest though, and I don't want to give it away, but there's like the whole like sort of fantasy musical number that for me was the absolute best part, because it just goes to such bizarre places, and the way that it evolves tonally is so great. But this just for me was not as consistently zany as the best of those Zucker-Abrahams movies. It's just a hard thing to achieve. And yet I love that this exists. I think we talk a lot about how like, oh, that kind of movie never could have been made today, whether it's Blazing Saddles or Revenge of the Nerds or Airplane. Maybe there are some jokes in Airplane that wouldn't fly today. No pun intended. Sorry. But I feel like this, in even trying to achieve that and achieving it so well so often, I do really appreciate it. And if you can see it with an audience, like with a big crowd, that's better. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the fact that you're making a movie about like the LAPD funny, is already a degree of difficulty that they do manage to get over. I think that we don't make actors like Leslie Nielsen anymore, in terms of the whole joke of Airplane was that people like Leslie Nielsen and Lloyd Bridges and Robert Stack and Peter Graves had always played these very sort of stolid, square jaw characters that were never funny in the slightest. And so to see them say this deadpan nonsense was hysterical. And I think now actors, either they have a mixed bag of stuff that they get to do, or even the most serious movies allow them some level of getting to be funny, So like, as I said in my review, unless you can talk Daniel Day-Lewis into doing one of these movies, I think Liam Neeson is about as close as we're going to get. And I think because Liam Neeson, especially his latter day career, has been so much about playing these like super skilled, tough guys who are like, super spies and super assassins and whatever else, that that makes him a good choice here. And he is, as you say, completely game for it, and has really great comic timing, and just is down to play and down to do this thing. Is this up there with Airplane? I mean, what is, Right. But like, I think, you could look at this next to like Top Secret, which is another movie that I love, but isn't quite at the level of Airplane, and be like, I think we're close. I think we're getting, this is the best we can expect maybe from one of these now. But I think that everybody involved understood the assignment, and, the results are really, really entertaining, especially again, if you see it, I think with a crowd, it's just a fun comedy to share that way.
Good summer movie, a nice tight 85 minutes.
Yes.
It gets in, it gets out.
But stay through the closing credits, because there's more jokes.
The whole way through. Like, again, if you pay attention, you've got to read the credits.
Yes.
You've got to stay for the whole thing, and you should anyway. But here, like, it really rewards you for staying and like reading the credits. So
absolutely.
Please do. What is your number then on The Naked Gun?
I said a 9. I had a great time, and I am thrilled to see what else, Schaffer and Neeson can come up with. Whether maybe not a sequel to this necessarily, because the sequels I think have always been, Airplane 2, Naked Gun 33 and a third, not the greatest, but like I want to see them team up and have more fun with this kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll say a 7. I had fun. So Naked Gun is in theaters. Go check it out.